From the fast-growing town of Midsayap, North Cotabato, Radyo, Bandera. Managed by Airwaves Broadcasting 100. Radyo Bandera. Sa balita, ihahati ang mga nagbabaga at mga pinakamaiinit na kaganapan ng mas komprehensibong at walang kinikilingan sa impormasyon. Malawak na talakayan at mga programang hatid ay kaalaman sa komentaryo. Matalinong hinihimay. Iniimbestigahan ang bawat isyong pampubliko. Balansing tinitimba para sa taong bayan. Sa entertainment, musika at usaping inyong kagigiliwan. Simula umaga hanggang gabi. Lunes hanggang Linggo, mga balita at musika. Lahat pinagsama-sama. Lahat pinag-isa. Ito ang 100.5 Radyo Bandera. Maglilingkod sa inyo ng tapat at serbisyong totoo. 100.5 Iwamagayway ang bandera ng malayang pamamahayag.
Ang programang inyong mapapakinggan ay isang bayad na oras. Anumang suwestyon o anumang nilalaman nito ay walang kinalaman ng himpilan. Kung may reklamo man, maaaring i-text lamang ang numerong 0908-404-3477 o bumisita lamang sa aming stasyon na matatagpuan sa Plaza Madonna 2nd floor building, Quezon Avenue, Poblacion 5, Midsayap, North Cotabato. Maraming salamat.
There is much progress to report. After 2 years of grinding labor and sacrifice, we have made strong and hopeful steps forward. But after years of stubborn gridlock, boom and bust, our agriculture sector is on track to prosperity and sustained growth. After years of uncertainty, we have found the right way to actual progress and stability. Again, these are all amid COVID-19 pandemic and other big challenges. We can say with renewed confidence that Philippine agriculture is back and our nation's food security is stronger. Together, we have established a new way of thinking. Let me repeat, together, we have established a new way of thinking in agriculture, one that shifts emphasis from production into value chain and now food systems. We concur with the United Nations in using the concept of food systems, which does not only entail attainment of food security, but also nutritional security, income and livelihood opportunities, and long-term sustainability and resilience. Our 8 paradigms and the 4 pillars of the 1DA reform agenda: consolidation, modernization, industrialization, and professionalization have made a little difference. We have held the line, ensuring food for a nation in the grip of a deadly pandemic. We battled against a global crisis like warriors, sadly losing some of our own, and we work only as heroes work. We have created jobs and fueled the economy, alleviating the lives of countless Filipinos. Now, we can pause for a moment. We can take stock of our achievements. Now, here are the results of our combined efforts in the implementation of our flagship program, Plant. For palay production, we have the country a record harvest of 19.4 million metric tons in 2020, equivalent to 90% rice self-sufficiency. On corn, that same year, production reached its highest record in 20 years at 6 million metric tons. While our fight to rid this country of African swine fever continues, 6 local government units in Batangas are now already completely free of the disease. 100,000 fattening hogs next year, and also committed through contract growing to buy 300,000 metric tons of yellow corn. Now, in 2019, our poultry farmers recorded significant strides with an output of 1.93 million metric tons. In 2020, those in chicken egg business harvested 605,790 metric tons of eggs, while those in duck raising gathered 50,480 metric tons of duck eggs. The banana industry achieved its highest export volume of 4.4 million metric tons in 2019, while onion farmers managed to attain 90% sufficiency in 2020, and we will further enhance. We have also made tremendous strides in the production of coffee at 60,640 metric tons, and for cacao at 9,340 metric tons in 2020. In fisheries, for fishery, we distributed 29,620 units of fiberglass plastic boats. We likewise saw to the construction of 680 community fish landing centers and built and rehabilitated 60 regional and municipal fish ports. This time, Kadiwa ni Ani at Kita has become a very popular program of the Department of Agriculture nationwide. And through Kadiwa ni Ani at Kita, we created a total sale of about almost 8 billion pesos, serving 3.8 million households nationwide. Another important and becoming a popular program of the Department of Agriculture is urban agriculture. We established more than 2,400 urban gardens in partnership with 200 plus local government units, including the private sector and civil society groups. Now, on infrastructure in agriculture, we have produced gratifying results as well. This included 5,291 farm-to-market roads totaling 4,108 kilometers. Palakpakan po natin ang kanayunan. We also constructed and rehabilitated 49,154 small-scale irrigation projects and 78,359 meters of irrigation canals and 14,150 production and post-harvest facilities. Turning to the Rice Competitiveness Enhancement Fund, in partnership with other mandated institutions, we have successfully implemented the rice tariffication law using the Rice Competitiveness Enhancement Fund to raise productivity and income. As a result of this policy reform, we were assured of adequate and steady supply of rice. Even during the height of the pandemic, we never experienced rice pila. As of June 30, 2021, RCEP has distributed 11,802 machineries to 220,371 farmers, cooperatives, and associations, or FCAs, 6 million bags of certified seeds of rice to 2.4 million farmers, covering 2.9 million hectares, and we opened up 22,461 loan accounts for individual farmers and FCAs, and trained 83,980 stakeholders in the industry. Now, on the financial assistance to rice farmers, thanks also to the provisions of RCEP, the Bureau of Customs has collected 7.6 billion in excess tariff from rice imports to bankroll financial subsidies to small rice farmers tilling 2 hectares and below. Each will receive 5,000 pesos under the Rice Farmers Financial Assistance Program, or RFFA. We will start distributing the amount in October to December this year to about 1.5 million rice farmers in rice-producing provinces nationwide through cash cards from the Land Bank of the Philippines and the Development Bank of the Philippines accredited payout outlets. Related to this, through the Agricultural Credit and Policy Council, or ACPC, under its Survival and Recovery Financing Program, we have extended zero-interest loans of 2.7 billion pesos to more than 103,000 small farmers and fisher folks. The DA-ACPC SURE program has also benefited victims of the Taal volcano eruption and the African swine fever through the SURE Aid Taal and SURE Hugs credit programs, respectively. Under the Agri-Negosyo Loan Program, or ANYO, we have granted 166 million to roughly 7,000 small farmers and fishers. For the younger generation, we also implemented KAYA, or Capital Access for Young Agripreneurs. Related to KAYA is MAYA, or Mentoring and Attracting Youth to Agribusiness, an internship program that attracted more than 800 young agri-fishery graduates who will replace us once 1 or 2 decades from now. The DA-AMAS also launched the Kabataang Agribiz Business Pitch competition nationwide to attract more entrepreneurial ideas. Initiatives such as this allow our youth to cut their teeth in agribusiness and hone their technical skills onto building a career in agriculture. With the millennials coming in, the old guards of agriculture will serve as their mentors and models. The youth are our most instructive assets in the way forward, so we need to sharpen their technical knowledge through training and immersion. Thus, we have to put the most modern tools at their disposal that include digital agriculture and sustainable farming technologies. We must tap them to help us in our modernization and industrialization efforts. We are also pursuing the groundwork for the implementation of the Coconut Farmers and Industry Trust Fund Act with the Philippine Coconut Authority administering. This law will make use of the billions of coconut levy fund to finally modernize and industrialize the coconut sector and contribute more to the gross value added in agriculture and export earnings. We are also bent on pursuing the provincial-led agriculture and fishery extension system, PAPES, that will put more muscle into the Devolution Act and various initiatives like the establishments of agribusiness, agri-hubs, implementation of fishery reforms, and vigorous rollout of urban agriculture nationwide. There are big-ticket infrastructure projects to be inaugurated and which we hope to endeavor to see the light of the day in the nearest future, barring the open, tricky terrains of bureaucracy. The Sariaya Agricultural Trading Center would have been the first one under Bayanihan 2 to have been inaugurated by the President supposedly tomorrow, but that has been canceled. And yes, this trading center will be an important trading center for Southern Luzon as a convergence zone for highland produce and those coming from Calabar zone, which will give us a better handle on supply. Agri-industrial business corridors in many of its components in the special economic zone of New Clark City and strategic location of Taguig City by Laguna de Bay will be a boost to export industries and subsectors as fisheries. Let me add, related to infrastructure, this is the biggest ever rehabilitation that we are doing in connection with crop protection centers nationwide and our regional integrated agricultural research centers. We also have the DA Pilrice Crop Biotic Center laboratory and facilities ready for inauguration this August that aim to help further improve the yields and quality of rice and high-value crops. Research for development through these facilities enters the territory of liveware science such as genomics, genetic engineering, bioinformatics, tissue culture, and molecular breeding. Turning to after infrastructure, we have all these will become building blocks of a sound Philippine agriculture sector in the succeeding years that dovetail with the food systems paradigm of the United Nations. These are also our modest achievements, especially together, so as we won them during the times of economic hardships, grief, and difficulty. We have to address hunger. Still, we gather today knowing that there are millions of Filipino farmers and fishers whose hard work and dedication have not yet been rewarded. Millions of our brothers and sisters still experience hunger every day. The impending lockdown starting Friday, August 6, will further add to the misery of workers who will not earn again because of the shutdown. Whether we'll see a recovery in September till December will depend on, to a large extent, on how our health authorities contain the spread of the new COVID-19 strain and how fast we could vaccinate the majority of our people. On the other hand, global commodity prices are rising due to increasing prices of raw materials, including agricultural inputs, feeds. Similarly, there is strong demand for corn, sugar, and pork. This is compounded by logistical bottlenecks like manpower shortage due to COVID-19 and stringent quarantine protocols, causing considerable delays in vessel turnaround. All this contribute to pushing upward prices of local agriculture and food commodities. What are the imperatives? In the remaining months of our term, we should focus and ramp up our activities on projects that will ensure availability and affordability of basic food to our people. Among these are the following: more urban agri-projects to be done. We need to launch more of these projects, including aquaponics and community food self-sufficiency initiatives that would also provide livelihood to unemployed workers. This will require additional funds for the distribution of free seeds, planting materials, chicken and small ruminants, and fingerlings. You know, I just read an article today, and Mayor Belmonte of Quezon City is advocating that all the cities of Metro Manila must have a food security plan during times of pandemic like what we have, and even during natural disasters. I would like to support that stand that even in metro areas, cities must have their own community food banks that they have to, buy products from FCAs so that they buy this during times of abundance. And when needed, the community food banks can serve the very requirements of these local government units. So we have to make more visibility and action of, again, our kadiwa, niyani at kita. It has to be linked directly with local government units and buying more farm and fishery products from FCAs. We will deploy more kadiwa, niyani at kita stores in various strategic areas and promote as well agri-e-commerce. We will also partner again with other government agencies, CSOs, and church groups in building their community pantries. So we can link FCAs for one, for them to market their produce to these community pantries. Now, the next remaining months of the year will be a huge challenge to all of us and for us to prevent hunger among the marginalized sectors of our society. Let's help them ease off their burden by providing them with accessible, affordable, and nutritious foods. So here comes again the continuous mobilization of food and food products from the countryside towards the metro areas. Now, is there hope for the better? The agricultural economy is adding jobs, but still too many people in rural areas remain poor. Too many in our cities suffer the indignities of squalor and extreme poverty. Farm and fishery production can still improve. We can still do better with modern technologies and innovations. In the coming months, we must work to bring more young people into agriculture and agribusiness. We must also secure a bigger budget for the agriculture sector. We need more sizable investments from the local governments with their mandanas, Garcia additional budget, and the private sector to be encouraged much more. We need to continue to modernize and digitalize our services and move closer to Agri 4.0. We need to expand our search for innovative technologies and encourage higher educational institutions to continue their groundbreaking research for development efforts. We need to develop better commodity industry roadmaps, build the agriculture sector's export capabilities, and continue to strengthen and expand the Philippine aquaculture industry. We likewise need to build food terminal hubs at 4 quadrants to serve the NCR Plus area and pursue the development of agro-industrial business corridors throughout the country. It is still our task to sustain progress and ensure that the true engine of our country's development keeps moving forward, a thriving, ever dynamically evolving agriculture sector. Let us elevate the plant program. Let us all be dreamers and doers. I say this because dreams are of no use if you lack the will to make them a living reality each and every day. As a young man, let me tell you a simple story. I had simple dreams. I wanted to be a lawyer. We were poor. Up to now, I am poor, okay? But I ended up as an agriculturist, and I never regretted. I wanted to be of service to our people, particularly farmers, fishers, and agripreneurs. Now, as Secretary of Agriculture, I wake up every morning with a pledge to fulfill my responsibilities as a leader and as a public servant as best as I possibly can. I have learned many things along the way to the position I now occupy. One of them is this: we may do different jobs, work with different goals in mind, and hold different views than the person beside us. But as Filipinos, we all share the same proud title. We are citizens of one nation, under one agenda, and we must walk every day with our heads up high. Since we assumed in August 2019, we vowed to cleanse the perceived tarnished image of the Department of Agriculture and regain its stature as one of the client-friendly, responsive, and corrupt-free institutions of the Duterte administration. At ako naman ay nagpapasalamat ngayon kasi you responded to this call. Let us all abide by the principles of ease of doing business and thus provide continuous, efficient, effective, timely, and quality service to our clientele. The fight against corruption continues. Actually, we are in coordination with PACC. We will be signing an agreement that this fight continues to the next 11 months. So again, in strongest terms, I say, no to corruption. Yun po ang bilin ng ating mahal na Pangulo, Rodrigo Roa Duterte, at sana magsilbing tapat po tayo sa mga farmers and fisher folks. The word Filipino doesn't just describe our nationality or legal status. The word describes our culture, our heritage, our values, the way we are raised and taught to live. The word describes a responsibility, a promise, a vision. The word captures the enduring idea that this country will only move forward if we accept certain obligations to one another and to future generations. That the prosperity of one must mean prosperity for others. You know, that we are bound by duty to work for the good of our loved ones, our people, and our country. That even now, well into this new century, it remains the task of us all, as citizens of this great and bountiful nation, to be the authors of the next great chapter of our story. Sana, open ang minds and hearts natin. Let's create the next chapter of our agriculture journey, and may that journey be very important for the next 11 months so that we can bring agriculture to where it should be. Let us make that chapter better than all the chapters before it. Let us make it a chapter filled with progress, prosperity, abundance, and hope. And as public servants, let us savor the honor of fulfilling the most rudimentary need of our compatriots for survival. The food in their tables is worth our weight in gold. Let's aim and do much higher. Let's go for the gold. That is the Department of Agriculture's way. That is the Filipino way. That is the way it should be. Thank you and God bless the Philippines.
Programang inyong napakinggan ay isang bayad na oras. Anumang suwestyon o anumang nilalaman nito ay walang kinalaman ng himpilan. Kung may reklamo man, maaaring i-text lamang ang numerong 0908-404-3477 o misita lamang sa aming stasyon na matatagpuan sa Plaza Madonna 2nd floor building, Quezon Avenue, Poblacion 5, Midsayap, North Cotabato. Maraming salamat.
Basta balita, basta musika, basta public service. 100.5 Radyo Bandera Midsayap. Pilit dinatapatan, ngunit hindi mapantayan. 100.5 Basta Radyo, iban